Good morning and happy Monday. A couple things we want to remind you of before we get started on today's video. Every Monday morning we post the focus paper for that week. Remember, it has the 20 spelling words that we would like you to work on for that week. It also has the comprehension skill that goes along with your story, and it has the 8 new vocabulary words with a short definition. So at any time, you can look back in Google Classroom and look at that focus paper that we posted for you. Also, when you are doing any of the Google form quizzes, please make sure you put your first and last name for question number 1. That way Mr. Moskal and I know who did the work. We want to make sure we give you credit. Okay, so this week we are on Unit 5, Week 4. In today's video, I'm going to go over all 8 of the vocabulary words with you. So if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil, it would be a good idea to write down the words and their definitions, because when you're done, you're going to have to go back into Google Classroom and complete a vocabulary assignment. If at any time you need to pause the video, please do so you could write down the definitions. And you may also go back into the McGraw-Hill into your Wonders program, where you will see this page and you can click on that red circle with the blue square at any time, and that will give you this presentation again. All right, so let's get started. Here are our 8 words. The first word we are going to work on is cling.
Cling. The frog is able to cling to the tree branch because of his long legs.
Let's look at that sentence. Is there any context clues there that will help you figure out what the word cling means? What is he doing to that tree branch? Okay, let's look at the definition. To cling is to stick closely. The frog is able to cling to the tree branch because of its long legs. So he's able to stick onto that tree branch. Here's a question for you to think about. What is a synonym for cling? Remember, a synonym is a word that means the same. Can you think of a word that means the same as cling? Remember, you can also use the words that are in the definition, like stick closely. All right, let's move to word number 2.
Dissolves. The tablet dissolves quickly in water.
Again, look at the other words in the sentence. And you may also use the picture to help you figure out what you think the word dissolve means. What is happening to that tablet inside of the water? To dissolve means to pass into a solution with a liquid. So if something is dissolving, it's breaking down and mixing in with that liquid. The tablet dissolves quickly in water. What does sugar look like when it dissolves? Think to yourself, have you ever put sugar or maybe Kool-Aid into some water? It dissolves. It pretty much disappears, doesn't it? Okay, let's go to word number 3.
Gritty. The sand on the bottom of his feet feels gritty.
Gritty, how something feels. Think about what is on the bottom of his feet and how would that feel? Your definition: something gritty contains very small amounts of sand or snow. The bottom of his feet feels gritty. Think to yourself, what's something else that feels gritty? It would feel kind of rough with a little bit of like sand on it. Have you ever felt sandpaper? That's kind of rough. That would be gritty. Okay, our next word.
Humid. I like the tropical feeling of the moist, humid air in the rainforest.
Can you find a context clue there? There is a word that tells you what humid means. If you said moist, you're correct. Humid means moist or full of water vapor. I like the tropical feeling of the moist, humid air in the rainforest. Here's your question to ponder. What is an antonym for humid? Now, if you watched the antonym video already, you would know that an antonym is a word that means the opposite. So if humid means that it's moist, what's the opposite of moist? If you said dry, you were correct. Our next word?
Magnify. You can magnify a leaf to see its details up close.
Magnify. That's a verb. If you're going to magnify that leaf, what would you be doing to it so that you could see the details? The definition? To magnify is to make something look bigger than it really is. You can magnify a leaf to see its details up close. Here's your question. How are the words magnify and enlarge similar? That's correct. They are synonyms. Magnify and enlarge mean the same thing, to make bigger. Next word.
Microscope. The scientist used a microscope to study the plant cells.
This would be a good time to look at that picture. See the scientist? She is using the microscope. So what do you think the microscope is? A microscope is a device for looking at things that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. The scientists use a microscope to study the plant cells. So a microscope actually magnifies something so that you can actually see it with your eye. Here's our question. What would you use a microscope to view? What would you like to stick underneath that microscope? The microscope would enlarge it so that you could see what it looks like up close. Our next word?
Mingle. The three penguins like to mingle and socialize on the beach.
Do you see a context clue in that sentence? The three penguins like to mingle and socialize on the beach. To mingle is to mix or come together. So if you're coming together to socialize, to be social. The three penguins like to mingle and socialize on the beach. What is a synonym for mingle? Can you think of a word that would mean the same thing as mingle? Come together or socialize. Our next word?
Typical. Freezing temperatures in Alaska are normal and typical for part of the year.
There is one word in that sentence that is your context clue that helps you define the word typical. Do you know what it is? See if you can figure it out. All right, let's look at our definition. To be typical is to show qualities or characteristics of a certain type. That might sound a little confusing to you, but pretty much if something is typical, it is normal. Freezing temperatures in Alaska are normal and typical for part of the year. Describe typical weather for your region. Think about where we live. What is typical weather for the middle of winter? What's normal? Is it cold and snowy? Or is it hot with thunderstorms? Hopefully you said it's cold and snowy. And that was all 8 of our words because we're back to the beginning. So you may go ahead and do your assignment in Google Classroom. Remember, you can always watch this video again, or you can go back into your McGraw-Hill Education app where you can log in and click on the Words to Know circle. Remember, check back on Thursday for our story, and don't forget to do your antonym work also.